Okay, here we go. We got New York Joe. We got New York
Good
Joe
morning,
with us,
Scott.
and we got a
Good
great
morning,
New
Scott.
City. And we're ready to roll, Joe.
I'm ready.
Okay, Joe, we got you.
All right,
We got you kind of in a small window here. We can see you coming out of the one of the buildings in the city.
Awesome. Awesome.
Joe, we're going to talk NFL football, Jaguars. I know you follow the Saints. We had a little conversation about Luke Fortner, who used to be in Jacksonville and was kind of counted on as being a center guard. Then he ended up being kind of a backup offensive lineman. He got traded to the Saints, and then quickly now he's gone to the Carolina Panthers as a free agent. So, what do you think about that, Joe? What do you think about a guy like Luke Fortner?
Listen, he's a backup. He's a backup offensive lineman. He's not ringing. He's not setting off any alarms on whether you got him, whether you don't. It doesn't matter. I mean, to me, he's been a little bit of a bust. He was the 65th pick in the draft. I expect him to be a starter in this league, not a backup.
Well, he was a third rounder, New York Joe. There's no doubt about that. We're still kind of in draft.
Early, Scott. He was an early third rounder too, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Number 65.
Okay. So we're still in kind of like draft. I don't want to say draft reload, but kind of, we were thinking about the draft so much before, during, and after now. And you were not high on the Jags draft. You were wanting a running back earlier.
Yeah, the running back, the one I was eyeballing was that Notre Dame back that Seattle took at the end of the first round. I thought he went a little bit high, but they needed a running back. The Jags didn't, they didn't reach for a running back, but they reached for I don't know about that tight end. Well, we'll see what happens. So, I mean, let's face it, Scott. There wasn't going to be much excitement with the Jags in the draft this year. They had no first round pick.
Now, what if the tight end the Jags drafted in the second round? What if? And this is, what ifs are big.
What if? Okay.
He's an inline blocker. What if he becomes a great NFL blocker and turns into a pass catcher? Because I just think the Texas A&M offense didn't really go through him. He had 18 or 19 catches. It looked like he had good hands, Joe.
Well, I don't really know all that much about him, and what you just discussed and covered, it tells me more than what I knew about him beforehand.
Okay.
I know that he's a big kid. He's going to be a good blocker. So, we'll see how it plays out, but he's no difference maker, and it's not going to, I don't think he's going to affect the Jaguars season one way or the other.
I mean, Joe, think about this. If he becomes a great tight end pass catcher out of the second round, and plus he can block, maybe he becomes as big as Gronk or Kelsey. Is there a chance?
Oh my gosh, Scott, you're really you're pushing the envelope on this, aren't you?
Well, maybe. I will say that Nate Borkacher's mother did follow me on Twitter, now known as the X. I will say that.
Oh, okay. See, I knew there was a connection somewhere down the line with this fella.
I'm a Jaguars fan. I'm a homer. I'm going to pull for the kid, just like I pulled for
no doubt.
Bortles,
But he doesn't play for the Jags anymore, Fortner. He's in Carolina. He plays for your arch rivals.
I'm not talking about Fortner now. I'm talking about Brother Bortles. We always pulled for him.
Oh my God!
And we're gonna pull for Nate Borkacher. John Gaylor likes him. John and I talked about some good things. The national media does not like the second round pick the Jags made. But what if he turns out to be a really good or maybe even a great player, Joe? And then Gladstone looks like a genius, the GM for the Jags, right?
I mean, listen, the jury's still out on Travis Hunter, so whether he's a genius or a dunce, that still remains to be seen. But I don't think this second round pick is going to define his legacy. And also, Scott, I like to point out, You bring up Brother Bortles quite a bit. I'm assuming that you have a shrine to him somewhere in your house there.
Well, he was 2-1 in the NFL playoffs, and we haven't made the playoffs too many times, Joe. And we did have a good defense when Brother Bortles played. Calais Campbell, Ramsey wore 20. I'm not real fond of him, but he was a good player back in the day. There I am, Joe.
Right.
But I followed the Jaguars. I've been a Jaguars fan, Joe, since before we got the franchise. I mean, basically we got the franchise in November of 93, and started playing in 1995 when Steve Berline was a quarterback for probably 4, 5, 6 games. And then Mark Brunell came in and got the first Jaguars win.
Yeah.
Probably not quite halfway through the season. They were an expansion team.
Yeah. And then Brother Bortles came along.
Well, there were some other good players too. We had.
I know. I know.
We had. What was the? Well, we had several other quarterbacks. I can't. David Garrard was a good quarterback. Could run the ball. Could throw it at East Carolina, and he was a good player. But we got the guy now. We got Trevor Lawrence. Come on.
No reason not. The playoffs should be a lock, and now it just depends on how far they go. And now I'm going to leave that up to Trevor Lawrence and the coaching. That will be the difference as to how far the Jags can go in the playoffs.
Yeah, and this is a point I wanted to make, Joe, and I did this with John Gaylor too, our contributor and correspondent. I think the guys that'll decide whether the Jaguars go deep in the playoffs, because the schedule is challenging with 2 home games in London, some other road trips as well. But I think Trevor Lawrence, Josh Hines Allen, and Trayvon Walker, the 3 big money guys. And then you could throw Travis Hunter in there as a wild card. But the 3 big money guys, these are 3 good players that got to become great players.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
If you're going to go deep in the playoffs,
I believe the Jaguars' schedule is a little front loaded too. So if they can keep their head above water for, let's say, like the first 6 games, schedule gets a little easier on the second half. So, and again, it's going to come down to the 2 games against the Texans. Tennessee will be better, but I don't see them making a run. And the Colts are kind of up in the air. Everything depends on Daniel Jones, and we don't know. So that's a little iffy. But the Texans are going to be really good. That defense is probably the best defense in the league. And, what were the Jags were 1-1 against, right? They split the series last year, correct?
I think that's right. I'm not looking at the results from last year, but that sounds about right.
Yeah. So,
But what, Joe, could the thing implode? I mean, you get some injuries, some guys don't play and give the effort they should. Could the 2026 season even implode for the Jaguars?
Only if Trevor Lawrence gets hurt.
Okay. And also on the other end of the spectrum, if everything goes right, the team stays relatively healthy, as much or even more than the average team in the NFL. Could the Jaguars win it all in 2026? Is that a possibility?
Well, they definitely got a shot to go to the AFC Championship game. And then it's going to depend on, let's assume that the Jags don't have home field advantage in the bye. It depends, right, man, if they're going to be looking at Denver or a cold weather team, that does not bode well for them. Maybe they're looking at Los Angeles Chargers or something like that. They could win out there.
Yeah.
Kansas City and Denver would be tough.
Yeah, you brought up a good point about the playoff. The way when the playoff sets up, you want to have home field advantage.
You don't want to be going to Buffalo or Denver.
You don't want to show
January.
Buffalo.
No, not in January.
And does Kansas City come back to life after the season they had last year?
Boy, that's a real, I've been hearing a lot of people talking about that, and Mahomes is back doing a little practicing, so he'll probably be ready for the start of the season. But, when you look at that roster, they got a few things on defense, but, they got that rookie that they're dependent on at cornerback. The offensive line is still a problem. They've upgraded running back, but their wide receiver room is questionable. Rice has got more legal problems. You'll be interested to see if Tyreek Hill signs back with Kansas City. That'll be interesting.
2 or 3 years ago, the Chiefs' defensive backs were really good. Are they anywhere close to that now?
Yeah, the problem is they're both of them are playing in LA for the Rams.
Okay, so they've lost a couple of guys in the
they've
last
lost
couple
two.
of years.
Yeah, they've lost a corner and a safety that went to the Rams. One was traded, and I think the other one signed as a free agent. That's how they got the first round draft choice in the McDuffie trade.
Well, the GM of the Rams, Les Snead, he knows what he's doing. He's actually from JC's hometown in Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get Gladstone. The Jaguars get Gladstone, who I've kind of nicknamed the mad scientist. He did some diabolical, some diabolical experiments in the draft. We got Borkature, and the hopes is Borkature becomes a very good NFL blocker. He's got good hands, Joe. He catches it in traffic. We're pulling for the kid. And want to say hello to his mother. We're going to say hello to his mother, Sherry Borkature, who's followed us.
Okay.
Yeah, and I followed her back. So, I thought that was the thing to do. When people follow me on the X, I usually will follow them back,
Right. Okay.
So Kansas City, that's a bit of the unknown, but the NFL is kind of like that. I mean, if there's one really good team and they have a lot of injuries, Joe, they can get in trouble quick.
Yeah, there's always going to be a couple of surprises. And I guess you could consider the Jaguars one of those surprises last year. I don't know how many people were expecting them to win the division and whatnot. So, there's every year there's going to be a couple surprise teams. I mean, a lot of it has to do with the schedule, the weakness and the strength of the schedule. Last year, the Jaguars had a little bit of a weak schedule. This year, it's all coming to the table, so it's not gonna be easy for them, but they got a shot.
I'm just not expecting 13 wins this year. I think that was just a little out of the norm. I mean, I could see 10, 11 wins and winning the division by one game over the Texans, and then you win the division.
A couple of weeks ago, I looked it up when we were on, and I think the win total for the Jaguars, the over/under is 9.5. If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, that's mainly the Vegas people, and that's probably understandable. I would go with 10. I'd probably take over and take them to win 10 games.
Yeah, I probably would too.
But now we got egg on our face last year because we didn't think they'd win 13 last year, and they won 13 games last year, Joe.
And the division.
Okay. Now, are they keeping this stuff with Travis Hunter a secret? Will he come out in 2026 and play all offense, or is it going to be cornerback and a little bit of offense, or what do you think?
I'd use him wherever I'd put him. I keep him on the field the whole time. I know that's not realistic, but
well, that's what he wants.
I would definitely get. I mean, I would. I would do whatever I can to get the ball in this kid's hands. He's explosive.
I know you've mentioned kickoff returns. We got Parker Washington's done that for the Jags too.
Yeah.
But these wide receivers, I mean, think about it. I mean, you got and then if you do get Travis Hunter out there for a few plays, and you got Brian Thomas Jr., Travis Hunter, Parker Washington. And that's not even mentioning Jacoby Myers, who's probably the best and most professional and veteran pass catcher they got right now.
They got, if Thomas ups his game a little bit. You already know what you got with Myers and Washington and Hunter. They'll be fine at wide receiver. But we spoke about it a couple weeks ago. I haven't heard anything about the Jaguars and AJ Brown, but boy, that would be something if they got AJ Brown. I'd give up a first-round draft choice to put AJ Brown with Lawrence.
Well, they may want a wide receiver back. I mean, there's only so many footballs to go around, though. You can only carry so many wide receivers. And then it depends on how I guess Gladstone and Liam Cohen value Travis Hunter. Is he a wide receiver on this team, or is he kind of a gimmick guy that's basically your fourth wide receiver?
That's right. I don't know. They're not really saying either one way or the other.
Yeah. Hey, Joe, how are the Saints looking?
How's the what looking?
How are the Saints looking?
Oh, Saints are looking good. Saints are looking real good. Tyler Slough has got a command of the offense. Okay. They're looking. I'm looking for the Saints to win the division.
Who's the quarterback now?
Tyler Slough.
And where did they get him from?
Yeah, they got him second round draft choice out of Louisville last year.
Okay.
But I mean, he came around at the end of the year. He was 5-3 the second half of the season. Yeah. Now they picked up Tyson, the wide receiver from Arizona State, so they're going to have him and Olave. They signed Achum as the running back with Kamara. I mean, the offensive line's coming together. They're going to be good on offense. Okay. They need a little help in the defensive secondary, but I'm expecting big things from the Saints. I'm expecting the Saints to win the division this year. Now, I don't know how far they'll go in the playoffs, but I think they can win the division. They do not have a brutal schedule, so
okay. And the division is a weird division. It's always been like everybody's like 500 or a game under or a game over 500. It's very competitive, very close. You got the Saints, Falcons, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and the Carolina Panthers they might be a little bit more competitive. They're picking up some players. They got Devin Lloyd.
Yeah, it's going to be. Listen, it's a very competitive. It's a very competitive division, and just to, I just looked it up. The Jaguars over/under total is 9.5, like we said, and most of the betting sites are favoring the under.
Wow.
Yeah, you get better odds on taking the over.
There's some people that are probably looking at, at the draft. They're saying, well, the Jags got a C- or a D in the draft. They're looking at that. They're looking at the challenging schedule. I don't think any of these teams are that much better than last year, but they're all getting a little bit better. But it's not so much the schedule's tougher. It's just it's more challenging. 2 home games in London and a few other obstacles.
Yeah, but they're used to it. Listen, the Jaguars are used to playing over in London and whatnot. They've done it more than any other team. I think they've perfected the philosophy of how to travel, how to be relaxed, how to rest up while you're over there, and I think they have a distinct advantage over other teams when it comes to the international.
I believe they do have it. I don't know the full ramifications, but I believe the Jaguars do have an office over there that they check in at every season because they've been playing over there most every year. Hey, we're brought to you by Saucer Realty and Capital for your real estate needs in North Florida, whether you're buying or selling, whether it's home, residential, business, or commercial real estate. You'll find a link for Saucer Realty and Capital near the weather report on our homepage at bigjreport.com. And I know the shows you like, Joe, like the Mad Max Mix.weebly.com.
I love them. JC in the pub, too. Don't forget about JC in the pub.
In the pub. He's on vacation, but he'll be back this week. He'll be back this Thursday. JC will be in the pub. And it's a great show.
Spinning and grinning, all the oldies that you love.
It's on. Well, he does. He plays some rock. He plays anything from easy to heavy. He even likes that Xanadu music a little bit, ELO and stuff like that. But I'm going to tell you, he plays a lot of requests for me, especially in the after show. It's really, really good. He loves Def Leppard too, Joe. JC does.
Sure. Who doesn't?
That's true. I mean, he knows my favorite song by Def Leppard, "Let It Go." And he often tells me, "Let it go," when I'm talking about old Jaguar stuff, particularly when I'm talking about the officials back in about 2018 against the Patriots. So,
Well, Scott, I know that I know that you're putting me off because Party is saying, "Boy, I don't know if I want to bring this up and let him get started on this because there's no telling where he's going to go." But you have not mentioned my New York Knickerbockers in the NBA
they're still
Finals against
alive.
the San Antonio Spurs.
Yeah, they
Starting up.
beat my Hawks, but I never expected the Hawks to go hardly anywhere in the playoffs. I was just happy to win the Southeast Division, being an Atlanta Hawks fan. But can the New York Knicks win it all, Joe?
Well, listen, they're running a 12-game winning streak in the playoffs, which is pretty much unheard of. I think it's a record for your most wins in a row, and they are pumping on all cylinders right now. The bench is even starting to contribute.
Yeah. And Joe, you're not the only Knicks fan. I know a guy who's a comedian up in New York, Miller Mark's a big Knicks fan that we talk to, and he listens to our podcast. Another guy, Brother Branson, Milton Branson on Facebook, is a big Knicks fan. So there's a lot of New York Knicks fans out there.
Listen, and there's even more this week when they're winning. When the Knicks are winning, there's a lot. Everybody's a New York Knicks fan.
Man, the Celtic fans got really quiet, didn't they?
Exactly. They're not heard of. Everybody's a Walt Frazier fan. You watch Walt Frazier on the Madison Square Garden feed for the Knicks. Boy, I wish he was doing the color for the games because Walt swishing and dishing, stopping and popping. Oh yeah,
he was. Let me tell you, Walt was incredible. I was a Knicks fan early on until a guy named Pete Maravich started playing for the Hawks. But I loved Walt Frazier. Played great defense. Passed the ball. The Knicks teams back in the late 60s and early 1970s, they were like a music orchestra. The way they played team ball, it was like a concert. I mean, you had Walt Frazier, you had Willis Reed. I think he was one of the hardest working guys. Whenever you saw him at the free throw line, man, he was sweating profusely.
You had Walt Clyde Frazier, Earl the Pearl Monroe, Willis Reed, Dave DeBuscher, Bill Bradley. Then you had Jerry Lucas backing up Willis Reed, Cazzie Russell.
And when you had you had Bill coming off the bench, man, he might get 5 fouls in 20 minutes or something. I mean, we're talking about Bill, who used to be the head coach.
Oh, Phil Jackson, sure. Phil Jackson.
He used to be the head coach of the Bulls, won all those rings.
Yeah.
But he was literally, what was he, Joe? He was like a 6th or 7th man for the New York Knicks back in their heyday.
Yeah, he was like a 7th man, I'd say. Second one off the bench after Lucas.
Yeah. But, I mean, Red Auerbach, the coach back in the day, did a great job coaching that team from what I could see.
No. Red Auerbach was with the Boston Celtics.
No, I'm thinking about Red Holtzman. I'm
sorry.
Holtzman. I got him mixed up there. Red Holtzman was the Knicks coach.
Yes. Everybody was named Red back in those days, evidently.
I had to correct myself. Red Holtzman was the head coach of the Knicks, and Red Auerbach was the coach of the Boston Celtics. So I stand corrected.
Exactly.
And so it's NBA playoff time. How many teams are left in the playoffs? I don't even know. Is it 4 left now?
No, it's down. Listen, it's the San Antonio Spurs against the New York Knickerbockers.
That's it.
For the championship.
That tells you how closely I follow it. So it's San Antonio and the Knicks. How many games have they played so far?
None. They start Wednesday night.
Okay. So you got a best of 7 coming up. It's San Antonio Spurs, formerly of the ABA back in the day, against the old school New York Knicks.
I don't know. Were the Spurs in the ABA?
The Spurs were in the ABA. They were one of the 4 teams that went from the ABA to the NBA. San Antonio Spurs, Denver Nuggets.
But were they in a different city?
No, they were in they might have been in a different city years earlier, but they were in San Antonio as the San Antonio Spurs. Denver Nuggets came in from the ABA. I will say this, the New York Nets became the New Jersey Nets when they went from the ABA to the NBA.
Yeah.
And there was, the Kentucky Colonels never got into the NBA, but there was one other team. I always have trouble remembering all 4 teams, but it was Denver Nuggets, San Antonio Spurs, New York Nets became the New Jersey Nets. And guys, I'd have to think for a minute who the other team was. There was one other team from the ABA that moved into the NBA, and that was probably, what was that? That was mid to late 1970s, I believe. It was basically when the ABA folded, and the NBA took in 4 teams. And if I think long and hard enough,
I'll tell you right now, it was they were down
Pacers. It was the Indiana Pacers,
the New York Nets, Denver Rockets, Indiana Pacers, and Kentucky Colonels.
Well, they were the Denver Rockets at one time, but I think maybe they did change their name to the Denver Nuggets.
Those are the 4 teams that came in 1975-76.
Well, that's a cool stat, because people, of our age, Joe, they loved the ABA back in the day. It was a 3-point league, 3-point play. That's where the 3-point shot originated, and now all the other leagues play with it.
Absolutely.
So back to football, Joe, real quick. I know you're a big college football guy. What's the word on Lane Kiffin at LSU?
As far as, LSU will not, they're not going to settle for, their fan base is not going to settle for anything but a Final Four appearance in the playoffs. They got to get down to not just make the playoffs, not just win a game. They need to get into the Final Four for this season to be successful, and then they better turn around and they want a national title in the next year or 2.
Hey, Lane Kiffin hired Ed Ogeron, who used to coach. Yeah, right?
They have a long history together and stuff. So
could Lane Kiffin implode? Could he implode at LSU? What do you think?
I don't know. I think they got too much talent for that to happen. Brian Kelly just wasn't down the road.
Yeah. Brian Kelly.
I don't see it. I think he's a hot coach, and they got plenty of money. And nowadays, when you got plenty of money, you're going to be okay.
Yeah. Did Brian Kelly end up anywhere as a head coach yet?
Yeah, he's ended up doing some television work for one of the networks.
Okay. And Joe, what about, real quickly, not everybody's a fan of the NIL, of course. Nick Saban certainly hasn't been, but you have to work the portal, the NIL, to compete now in college football, right?
You surely do.
Yeah. And what about the Florida coach? He looks like he's recruiting hard, John Summerall.
I'm pretty familiar with him being here in New Orleans with Tulane, and he's a good guy, and he's had a winning record everywhere he's gone. So I think the Gator fans are going to be very happy with him. I would not expect him to disappoint. So it'll be interesting.
Yeah, he's picking up a lot of new recruits, and we'll see where it goes. And he got the offensive coordinator from Georgia Tech has come to Florida now, so he's got a couple of quarterbacks. We'll see how good they do. The Florida quarterback who was there last year transferred to Baylor, as I understand it. And so Joe, we've talked NFL, we talked college football. Where is Mandeville, Louisiana at? Do you know where that is?
Yeah, that's I'm in Slidell, Louisiana, which is across the lake from New Orleans, and Mandeville is across the state from me. It's about 25 miles from me. It's basically right across the lake from New Orleans. So it's about 25, 30 miles northwest of New Orleans.
Okay. Well, that's actually a cool thing, New York Joe. I'll tell you that. Man, I tell you what, I'm having a lot of fun experimenting with how we can do things on this podcast. So there's a lot of good things to come in the future. with the Teal Shirt Report podcast. Also, episode show number 35E. I wanted to mention these number 35s.
Okay.
There's a reason why I brought up Mandeville, Louisiana also, but it has nothing to do with the number 35. There's a semi-pro football team that plays in Mandeville, and I know a guy that plays for them. They're called the Bayou Lacombe Cardinals, and they're in the NLFA Semi-Pro Football League, and they're undefeated. They're like 8-0, and they're going to be in the playoffs. So there's semi-pro football leagues out there, Joe, and they are truly, it's the underworld of semi-pro football, and those guys absolutely play for the love of the game. Now, as far as the number 35s go, Jalen McLeod, I believe that's his name, Jalen McLeod, plays for the Jacksonville Jaguars. He is a guy the Jaguars recruited out of Auburn. This is his second year, but he wears number 35, and I believe that's his name. I'm not that familiar with some of the backups. Jalen McLeod was selected by the Jacksonville Jaguars in the 6th round of the 2025 NFL Draft, showcasing his impressive college football career at Appalachian State and then Auburn. He wears number 35. So you probably never heard of him, Joe.
No, not really.
Okay, now you've heard of these other guys. You've also heard of Calvin Hill, number 35.
Oh, sure.
You know, Grant Hill's dad, who played fullback for the Cowboys. I think maybe Dwayne Thomas was the halfback when he was playing fullback, I believe, back in the 70s.
Okay, I know Calvin Hill, sure.
Okay, he was a good player. I think he
didn't he come out of Yale?
That sounds about right. I don't know for sure. You can look him up, or anybody can look him up. Calvin Hill, yeah, and then his son Grant Hill went to Duke, of course, and JC's a big Duke basketball fan, so he knows Grant Hill, obviously, our executive producer. Boy,
JC, he's with all the front running favorites, isn't he? Duke basketball, the Buffalo Bills, Alabama. Oh, geez,
he got those teams spread around. He really does.
What's he look in the paper and see? Oh, this team's winning. Let me jump on their bandwagon. Come on, JC.
Let me ask you a question. How are JC's Buffalo Bills looking for this year?
They're going to be the same as they are every year. They're going to do great during the regular season, and then they're going to peter out in the playoffs.
Oh, man. And that sounds like what the Jaguars usually do, Joe.
But the Jaguars usually don't make it to the playoffs, Scott. Let's face facts.
That's very true.
So, you know, I like the Jaguars got a better chance than Buffalo. Buffalo can't. That last year was the year for them. Kansas City wasn't there. They couldn't lose to Kansas City, but then they couldn't beat Denver.
I got another number 35 for you. We talked about Calvin Hill. We talked about Jalen McLeod, the backup linebacker for the Jaguars out of Auburn, now moving into his second year. Training camp is going to be interesting for the Jaguars. A lot of people trying to make the 53, obviously. And the practice squad for the Jaguars is going to be loaded. They're deep at defensive back, deep at wide receiver, etc. I'm going to talk about another number 35 and get your impressions, Joe. He did win 318 games in the major leagues. He's in the Hall of Fame. I'm talking about Phil Niekro.
Oh, sure. Phil Niekro. He played forever. About 30 years he played.
He's one of the nicest guys I ever met. I had the privilege of interviewing Phil Niekro when I first got into radio years ago. I interviewed Phil Niekro, Pete Rose. And both of those guys sadly have left us, and they're in baseball heaven now. And also, I never really mentioned this on the podcast yet, but I wanted to. I had interviewed Ted Turner years ago. He passed away recently, too, and he did a lot for baseball, I believe.
Sure. Yeah. Well, he's the Braves. Everybody knew the Braves.
Yeah, the Superstation.
Yeah.
So that's it for my number 35s, Joe. Give us something to think about with upcoming football coming up, because I know you're getting excited because it's May 31st. That means football. Well, tomorrow's June, and that means training camps and, college football teams will be practicing soon. Give us your thoughts going into all this, Joe.
Well, I'm excited. I'm excited just because it's going to be football season's right around the corner. So I'm excited about the pros. I'm excited about college. It'll be interesting to to see what happens with a lot of this stuff as far as college goes, and with the pros. I'm excited about the Saints. I'm excited about the Jags. And we'll see where the chips fall, where they may. Most of the free agents have been signed. The teams are put together, and now, this is the time of year where everybody's team's a winner.
Training camp will be huge coming up. So, Joe, give us this now. Let me ask you one more question before we go here. We know the Jaguars won 13 games last year, and you and I both, and even Vegas is thinking they may not win 13 this year. Maybe a couple of games less, maybe around 9 or 10 or 11 wins. So if the Jags end up with 10 or 11 wins, they'll make the playoffs. But and hopefully they win the division by maybe a game over the Texans, where they can maybe get a home field game early in the playoffs, perhaps. But let me ask you this, Joe. Who is the surprise team that did not maybe do that as well last year? Is there a surprise team you got out there?
The New Orleans Saints.
How many games they won last year?
6.
Okay, so the Saints, if you're talking about a turnaround, would you say 10 games is possible that they can win 10 games or
absolutely?
Okay.
Absolutely. I'm looking for 10 wins.
And you're saying your New Orleans Saints will win the NFC South Division?
Yeah. Yep. 10-7. Win the division. Go to make the playoffs. I don't know what they'll do in the playoffs, but it's a building block season. But I definitely expect them to win the division. And there's a lot of speculation about a lot of the teams. The Jaguars are going to be good. The Texans are going to be good. I don't see the other two teams, Tennessee and the Colts, giving them a run for their money. So you got those two teams. You got the Saints. That's a close division all the way around. Okay. You got the Patriots and the Bills and the AFC East. Then you got the Ravens and the Steelers, and Cincinnati will be better. Cleveland will be a little better. That's a wide open division too.
Who's going to play quarterback for the Colts, you think, this year?
Daniel Jones, if he's healthy.
Okay, that's a good point. What about Anthony Richardson? What's going to become of him? Is he going to?
Oh God, he's not. Hopefully, he won't be the quarterback of the Colts. That was a big mistake they made with him.
Is there still the possibility he may change positions?
No.
Okay, so he'll end up as a backup somewhere.
He'll end up with as a backup or some.
He's still with the Colts, right?
Yeah. Yeah, they couldn't get anybody to take him in a trade. So, I don't remember. Is this going to be his 3rd or 4th year? Is he up for the contract extension? Are they going to cut him loose? I mean, number 4 pick in the draft.
I'm thinking it's at least his 3rd or 4th year now.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too.
He's still under a rookie deal, but as far as his second contract goes, it's going to be a prove it 1-year deal from somebody, probably, if he goes somewhere else.
Yeah, he'll definitely go somewhere else. I don't think I think the Colts have given him their shot, and he's had training camps, and he's not really
When I watched him play college ball at Florida, he would somewhere between 2, 3, 4 plays a game, he would take off and go 20, 30, 40, maybe 50 yards running the football. And I said right then, the perfect thing for him would be a slot receiver or a tight end where he can get the ball in space maybe 3 to 5 times a game. But the money is at the quarterback position.
Yeah, absolutely. That's where absolutely. Defensive line, rushers, and quarterbacks. That's where all the money goes.
Yeah, you're exactly right, Joe. Man, I appreciate you joining us here on the Teal Shirt Report podcast episode show. If I said 37, I was wrong. It's episode show number 35E. We saluted Phil Necro, Jalen McLeod, linebacker with the Jaguars, Phil Necro, number 35, and Calvin Hill, number 35. If anybody knows of any other 35s, let us know. But that's a pretty good assortment right there.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's been a pleasure being with you again this morning, Scott.
Yes, sir.
I'm looking forward to football season. And the Gators are doing pretty good. They're ahead in their regional for baseball. If anybody's a college
I know
baseball fan.
they beat Ryder the first game. I saw where St.
And,
John's beat Florida State like in a 6-5 game in the regional too.
oh, okay, I didn't see that. And then the Gators came back last night and whooped up on Miami 22-10.
So the Gators they're on the inside track to making the College Baseball World Series, I think.
They're sitting in the catbird seat. They got to win one more game, and then they'll have the super regionals next week, the 2 out of 3. So we'll see who they play then. But
from year to year, is that something you follow, the College Baseball World Series, Jeff?
a little bit when it gets down to see who's in it and stuff. I'll keep an eye on it. I was just mentioning that because the Gators, you got a lot of Gator fans in your audience, Scott. So I wanted to bring the attention to that. So
Joe, give us a winning horse before you go, Joe. I know you're big into horse racing.
Well, we got the Belmont Stakes is coming up next Saturday up at Saratoga. And we got a bunch of horses running back from the Kentucky Derby. Okay. And it's going to be it's a very competitive field.
It is.
I'm going to go with Emerging Market, my Kentucky Derby horse that had some problems and finished like 9th or 10th. I'm taking him coming back. I'm sticking with him. So should be interesting to.
You said Emerging
What's that?
Market? You said it was
Emerging Market. Yep. Okay. Yep. So
how do you spell the name of that horse? Spell it for me.
EMERGING Market.
MARKET. Okay, Emerging Market. So we'll keep an eye on Emerging Market. Are you going to put a couple of shillings down on Emerging Market, Joe?
A couple of shillings, yeah, exactly. Okay. We'll see what happens. It'll be a big day for me. So
well. The sad thing is today I had to make the coffee for myself. JC's on vacation, as you know.
Yeah, he's on a sabbatical. Yep.
He is on a sabbatical, and that does happen with people from time to time. And he's a great executive producer. We want to thank JC, our executive producer, John Gaylor, contributor and correspondent, another producer, Alex Nunnery. And New York Joe, thank you for being, a special guest on here with us, as you are every week or so.
Yep, my pleasure being with you, Scott. Thanks for having me.
Joe, you have a great day.
You too, Scott, and be a good sport.
I'm going to do my best, Joe. And the Teal Shirt Report podcast want to thank a lot of our. I'm not sure if you know this, Joe, but we're getting more and more subscribers. We're well over 2,000 subscribers on the
That's
Teal
awesome.
Shirt Report podcast now, and you're a big part of that, Joe. So thanks for stopping by like you always do.
Yeah, my pleasure. Looking forward to next time.
Have a great day, Joe. And I'm Scott, your host of the Teal Shirt Report podcast. I'm speaking for New York Joe, where I say, hey, I'm out. Joe, you have a great week.
Thank you, Scott. You too.